Hello, my name is Arjuna Arda and I am the founder of the Awakening Coaching Training. In this series of videos, I'd like to give you a feeling for what this work is all about, and also hopefully to give you a feeling if this is something that would be interesting for you to pursue more deeply. The place we're going to start in this video is to talk about the first word in the title, which is awakening. What is awakening? In future videos, we'll also talk about what is coaching, what happens when you bring awakening and coaching together. What is awakening coaching? So what is awakening? We use the word every day. Everybody, when they wake up in the morning, you just heard me say it, you shift from sleep to being conscious. You shift from the world of dreams, which is purely created in our imagination, to the world of reality experienced through the five senses. So to wake up literally means to shift from sleep to being conscious. We also use the word awakening figuratively. We say things like, I stayed in a dead-end job for years until I discovered that I could work for myself and make a lot more money. I woke up. That means that I recognized an unconscious assumption that I had taken to be true, and I broke free of it and found that I could live outside of that box. Some people say, I stayed in a relationship much longer than I needed to, and we were fighting and we didn't get along, and then one day I woke up and I realized we weren't meant for each other. We use this kind of language all of the time when we want to say that we recognized a belief that was unnecessarily limiting. We saw the belief for what it was, and we broke out from beyond the belief into a bigger way of living. Now, there is also an ultimate possibility to awakening, which means not only to shift out of one particular mindset into a bigger context, but to shift at least temporarily out of all mindsets, which means to shift from the context of mind and thinking to the context of direct and immediate experience. You already know what I'm talking about. I know you well. You know what I'm talking about. Because any time you've had an extreme experience where you're really in this moment, really completely alive, you do step out of your mind and you do experience what it's like to have a vivid, undiluted experience of reality. Now, the best example of this, which everybody has experienced one time or another, is sex. When you make love, in a way, the whole point of making love, it's not just to have babies, unless you're Catholic, but for many of us, we have sex because it takes you completely into the immediacy, the vibrancy, the aliveness of the present moment. And in fact, during sex, you often experience boundaries disappearing. You no longer know, is this my hand or is it your hand? You start to experience a oneness with the other person. And as you build towards orgasm, the mind is completely transcended and you have a peak moment of ecstasy. More and more people in all kinds of walks of life, in all kinds of backgrounds, are discovering the possibility of this kind of breakthrough, not just having sex, but the possibility of breaking free of the mind in business leadership, in organized religion, in art, in intimate relationship, in parenting, in education. More and more people are realizing there is a way to lead life that is no longer dominated and restricted by thinking, which means dominated and restricted by evaluating, judging, remembering, anticipating with fear or desire. All of these things dilute our capacity to be present and to respond to life, to be responsible. Now let me add one caveat for a moment. Because at the Awakening Coaching Training, we are not opposed to the mind. You may know a little bit about me. I went to Cambridge University in England. I've written 7 books. I know how to use my mind, and it's a good mind. But here's the thing. If you know how to use your mind, how to switch it on and switch it off, it's a wonderful tool. It allows you to make connections between things, to understand things, to have a vision of things that would not otherwise be available to you. But if you don't know how to switch it off, then the mind becomes a prison. And when we are encapsulated within that prison, the only thing that we know then is how to try and shift negative thinking to positive thinking. And this is what has dominated our attempts at evolution for the last several decades. An attempt to try and think more positively, to use the mind to manifest things that we want in day-to-day life. Now we are ready for the next evolutionary leap that is happening to more and more people in all kinds of backgrounds. The next evolutionary leap for humanity is to learn not how to shift the mind to be a more positive mind, but to recognize who we are and what this beautiful creation is outside of the mind. This is the work of the Awakening Coaching Training. To be able to facilitate people, to help people to shift from imprisonment within the mind, within thinking, to being able to experience life directly. And we do this not through any change of lifestyle, not through any change of diet or belief system. We are not affiliated with any kind of religious or spiritual belief system. We help people to make this shift through intelligent inquiry, through recognizing that while the mind is a great servant, it makes a terrible master. And it is time for all of us, for humanity, to evolve from Homo sapiens to Homo illuminatus, from a creature which thinks its way through its life to a creature which lives, which can think, but which also knows how to experience things directly. Awakening has an incredible impact upon relationship, upon parenting, upon every aspect of life. And our interest is in how this shift in consciousness can breathe forward and transform every aspect of your life. We are not interested in renunciation or leaving the world behind or sitting meditating for hours a day, although there's a place for meditation too. Our interest is in how can your deepest potential, your deepest aliveness, and your deepest gifts be given through this body, free of the limits of unnecessary beliefs and unnecessary thinking. If this sounds interesting to you, by all means go ahead and explore the other videos that are made available for you here. We're going to talk about what is coaching, and we're going to bring these two things together. What happens when you explore awakening in the context of coaching? Stay with me for future videos.